Morning, everybody. Thank you for taking time out from your hectic schedules on this glorious Friday to learn a bit more about IT strategy and why I believe it's important for all businesses. Just going to start slide deck across. What the aim of this is hopefully there'll be something inside this packet slides where it will resonate with you. So either with your business or with your clients or people that you come into contact with. So in essence, I am an outsourced IT director manager for SMEs, managing all things from budgets through to solutions, through to understanding where the potential issues and problems are. So plans are everything, but planning is everything. So this is basically just a little definition around it, because I'm sure some people probably thought, what on earth is he talking about? The definition of an emergency is that it's unexpected. Therefore, it's not going to happen the way you are planning it. So no one anticipated or could plan for the pandemic that we're obviously in at the moment. This is our modern day emergency, and businesses have had to be reactive to the changes in how they're doing business, how they're working, how they're operating, both in terms of with their clients and also for their staff. Because it hasn't been anticipated or expected, it's very reactive, which means that there's lots of issues and could be problems around that. So before COVID-19, we had people in offices working with their data on site with them, and also their colleagues were also nearby. We used to do meetings in person during the day. We used to communicate in person, so we could go and talk to somebody at the coffee point or find out how their weekends were. Also, just have a quick chat to them around a topic we didn't quite understand in their email or whichever way it is. Small number of businesses had staff that were moving around the country or globally, and also they could have had staff working out of coffee shops. IT issues, when they cropped up, were resolved fairly quickly by the IT company, hopefully. All within inside their specified time frame of their service level agreement called SLA. Some users had desktop PCs, and these were obviously fixed to their desk. They'd rock in the morning, log in and do their work. And some people have also been saving their data locally on their PCs. That's all changed. Working as of today has reshuffled that pack. Lots more people are now working remotely from home on laptops. Companies may have brought laptops in haste or just told their employees, go off, buy your laptop, we'll reimburse you the cost of it. We just need to get you up and running. Companies' meetings are now happening like we are now on Zoom and in Microsoft Teams, or other providers are also available, I'm sure. Working teams, working groups are now isolated teams. So they're working independently when they might need to be working quite closely together. So that's a change that they've had to overcome and resolve as well. Some of those teams could be people living in opposite ends of the country, for example. Data is now secured in cloud services or is shared over email. And there's no clear process now for getting support for some users from home. So they're not quite sure where they go if they have an issue. Do they have to try and troubleshoot it themselves? So here's a list of some of the issues that we could face today in terms of working in our new environment and setup. We could have problems with our laptops because they're not fit for purpose. They haven't been scoped correctly. They've not been brought with a plan in mind of how they're going to connect, what processor and specs they need to run the software and the process the data that's being generated. We could have problems connecting to the internet. People have got home routers, which are used occasionally and ad hocly. They're certainly not used as we're using them at the moment. So there could be issues with people connecting to the internet to get onto their work machines. Problems accessing data. If you're a business and you save your data locally on your PC or on a server in your office, can you connect to that at the moment? Some of these companies aren't able to do that. So they're operating with a very limited amount of their IP, intellectual property, available to them, which is obviously going to impact how they work and how they make decisions. There's going to be problems around talking and communicating with the teams. As I alluded to a moment ago, we could have a sales team, for example, which could be split across the UK, whereas beforehand they would be working quite closely together. That's now not going to be possible. Zoom and Microsoft Teams. Some people haven't had to use these programs and applications before and have no idea what a video conference is all about and how it works. Again, Lots of people have had to learn this and find this out, how to do it, how it all works. And the other one I've got down here is your IT company securely remote access devices to resolve issues. So if you've got an outsourced IT company, can they connect to your machine, no matter where it is, and solve your stuff or your issues? So where's the problems? Do you or your companies that you work with, your clients, have a plan B, a contingency plan? And as you can see from here, from some of the highlighted words on there, it covers a vast array of areas. It's quite a deep topic on its own. So we're just going to touch the surface on it today. Some companies might have been fortunate enough to have planned and have what we call a snow day, working from home policy, which is for that very rare occurrence that the UK gets a light dusting of snow. People get stuck in rural communities and can't travel into work. So there are processes and systems in place and solutions to allow those people to remotely connect into the office. But that's not fit for purpose for what we're going through now. The snow day policy historically have only been for a set number of users, and it's certainly not for this duration. So is it fit for purpose? For some companies, again, it might not be. So let's look at it from a positive perspective now. Going forward, after we come out of COVID-19, we know it's going to end at some point, but we just don't know when that's going to be yet or how it's going to happen. Are your IT systems and solutions ready for when that happens? Are they ready and geared up to manage your business, which has changed now because you've either pivoted or you're providing additional services and features? Is it fit for purpose that when we get out there and we can talk to people and we can engage with our clients and develop our businesses and relationships with people, is it going to deliver for you or is it not? If you're not sure, again, we can help with that. And put those plans in place. Make sure that the systems that you're using and solutions are fit for purpose and will deliver and underpin your business plan and your strategy. Now is the time. Now is the perfect time to plan to get your business shipshape and ready to go. We need to make sure, as I said a moment ago, that the solutions that your company uses for IT underpins your business plan and your business needs. The reason you may have had problems before with the business as it was, as I said, it's changed now because people have pivoted how they work, how they operate, how they do business. So we can have a discussion around that to make sure actually it's going to work for you when we come out the other side of the COVID-19. So as a brief overview, people often say to me, what can you do for me though? What areas do you operate in? This is just a very high level overview, which I won't go into all the sections individually, of some of the areas that when I talk about it, what it actually means. So when we say about hardware, we're talking about laptops, desktop servers, mobile phones, etc. Software, Windows or Mac OS or Linux, whatever is running on your actual computer systems. Office applications like G Suite or Office 365. You may have industry applications that are specific to your sector. We need to manage how they work and support around that. Make sure that those are all sorted out okay as well. IT financials, so budgeting is a good one. We go into that a bit more later on, so I won't go too much into that at the moment. Capturing software renewals, maintenance and support as well. IT security, Mark did a really good presentation last week on some of these areas here as well. So we can help support and cover off those areas as well. IT planning. So from this perspective, we're looking ahead proactively at projects and clients. Maybe you're looking to obtain a client that's in a niche market. They might have specific hardware or software that you need to buy into your business. Again, we'll go into that into the budgeting section as well later on, but we cover into those areas as well. And then when we talk about IT operations, that's the day-to-day stuff. What happens with inside the company from an IT perspective with IT support, new people join the business, people leaving, suppliers, links with managers, etc. Okay, so that all sounds great, but I'm only a small business. Do I really need to plan an IT strategy? Is it really important to me? I think that's just for like the large corporates, isn't it? Well, that depends on if you're wanting to grow your business. And if you want to get yourself ahead of the game, ahead of your competitors, if you do, then you absolutely do need an IT strategy. The reason being is because it's fundamental to your business. Even if you're one person, two person business, it's key. You use IT all the time. Everything connects into it. And if you're a bigger business, maybe some of your clients have got different divisions or departments, they all plug into it. They all need to share their data and their information. You may have a sales team which is capturing information about clients and prospects, new clients, bids, etc. Then you might have a marketing team and a sales team and a business development team. They might be sharing their data all separately. Why are they duplicating the data 3 times? That's going to cost you a lot more money in terms of sharing that data and storing it and who has access to it. There's ways around it where you can share one data set with those departments. So, IT budget, know what you're spending. Quite a few of the businesses that I've been engaged with to date tell me their IT budget is ad hoc, which means they've got no idea what they're spending from one week to the next. What I'm saying here is if we look at that model and flip it, we make it so we know what you're spending. And a straightforward one for that is splitting it into quarters. So here I've taken a basic spreadsheet and I've started to map out some of the IT costs within inside the business and when that's going to renew, because this is a renewal information. So this is for what we would call OPEX, operational expenditures. Accountants will get quite excited about this because they can clearly understand and plan what you're doing with inside the business. It also allows you to see what your run costs are. So from here, we've got 8 laptops, which is going to renew the support for the hardware. So say we've got, with the HP for these laptops. So we're expecting an invoice from HP for around £800 around about 26th of November. And that will support the hardware for those machines if they get a fault or an issue. It's the same with the other applications that are listed on there as well. And then if it's a subscription, it's an annual reoccurring cost. So again, it's really important we capture that, because if it's a key piece of software that's within inside your business and you miss that and it doesn't renew and you don't pay the invoice for it, it will stop working for you. So we obviously don't want that to happen. Okay, so budget forecasting, planning the spend. Have a cunning plan. That plan is to map out what you're doing. So it keeps you focused, it keeps you going forward and knowing what you're spending and when you're spending it. It helps you track if you're buying kit for clients, how that's going to work out for you as well. Do you charge that back to the clients, or are you taking the hit yourself? Are you charging partial money back? It's all down to capturing it in the bid stage when you're bidding for your work for your client and scoping things out. IT budget for new staff. So if you're growing your business, you're going to be taking in more people at some point. So when you take on a new starter, what are the costs? Quite often I'm told, oh, that's just their salary. No, it's not. Obviously, that's an important part of the cost, but you have an IT cost there as well. So what I've done here is just broken down very roughly the cost for Jenny, who's going to be a new starter within inside this business. She needs a new laptop. She needs an Office 365 account to get access to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, etc., and her email. And she needs a CRM license as well, because her role has been identified as needing that license there as well. How do we know what she needs access to and what these costs are, and what spec machine does she need? We provide a job matrix sheet, which looks at the roles that people are doing within inside the business, what software they need and access to data to deliver their tasks, to complete their daily objectives. From that, we can see the software and what software requirements are needed, and we can work out what machine they need to use for that as well. So we can get very, very granular quite easily and work out what the costs are. This is going to help you as a business, because then you know when you need to replace Jenny, who works in sales, or a duplicate Jenny's role, in this case, because the business is growing, what that cost is. What's the cost to get her into the business? Backup. Again, another interesting topic. Quite a few companies say they do a backup, but they don't always test it. So I'm imagining this picture here could be how some companies are operating. They've just got bits and pieces all over the place. No one knows quite where it is, but it's important, so we need to keep it. Chris is probably smiling as well from a secure data disposal point of view. We might get a referral fee out of this one. But basically, a backup. Why are we backing up data? Why are you backing that up? It's the first question. Because obviously it's important to you. You don't want to lose that information, have it corrupt, or not be available. So then you do need to test it, because just because it's being backed up doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be there when you absolutely need it. Where's it stored? So this is no good in this picture, because all the backups are stored exactly where the servers all are. So if the server room has a fire in it, all your backups are going up in smoke with the servers. So it's important that it's important to remember that when you do a backup, the actual backup goes away off site if you can help it at all. There's also cloud solutions. So if you've got a Office 365 subscription, for example, or G Suite subscription, for example, that's not backed up. Yes, it's a cloud solution, but you can still suffer from users deleting files or issues around that. So again, we can help companies work out how to back up what options they need, because there's numerous different vendors out there and contracts out there and costs. We can work out exactly what they need and that make it sure it's fit for purpose, not spending additional cost where they don't need to. So keys to success. This is just going to round up what we've covered off in this plan so far, is to align the IT to the business plan. So your business plan is going to drive the business. It's going to focus you and say which direction you're going in. The IT needs to underpin that and help deliver it. IT strategy is going to help to allow the business to be flexible and agile. So for the strategy, we take into consideration what we're doing right here, right now. We take into consideration what we're doing in the medium term, and then we take consideration what we're doing in the long term. What's the objectives? Again, this is all laid out from the business plan. And yes, it can change and it will change, and that's also absolutely fine. Have you got a plan B? So it's great having a main battle plan, but we do need a backup plan. Again, it's clear to know what that battle plan is. And then it's also key to know, in an emergency, do we know what we're doing and when we're doing it? Too many businesses will just basically start running around, panicking, and not executing their plan B effectively or properly, or engaging with the right people. We're going to plan for growth. So the IT strategy plan is going to take in consideration what we're going to do when we come out the other side of COVID-19 pandemic. It's going to focus on which new clients are we looking to do. Are we going to focus on a new client set? How are we going to service that and keep them happy and deliver what they need and help them? Do we know what our IT is costing us? So from the budget perspective, we can understand what the costs are in terms of capital expenditures, in terms of operational expenditures. Backing up our systems. Why do we back them up? We know we need to back up the data because it's important to us. And we're also going to make sure that we test those backups and make sure that we can get hold of our data when we absolutely need to. And I said at the bottom here, I've got cloud solutions. So there's numerous different solutions out there for working in the cloud now to help companies move from data being local to them in their business, in their offices, which is good when they're there. But when they're not there, or their user base is scattered around, it makes it very difficult for them to operate as they need to. Okay, reached the end of the presentation. I born in the 80s, and used to love watching the A-Team, so I thought it was quite appropriate that we have a bit of John Smith, Hannibal Smith, saying about loving it when a plan comes together. So the objective here is we have this plan. It's going to enable you to grow your business and absolutely thrive, and making sure that you're able to deliver what you need to.
Right, well, I'd like to thank Paul for a great webinar there. If anyone's got any further questions, obviously Paul's details are up on the screen there. Please get in contact, arrange the one-to-ones, and we will look forward to seeing you all next week. More B2B webinars.